When I say Silk Road, odds are that you might think of Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, but you might not think of Uzbekistan. But the majority of the main routes at the time that united the East and the West passed through Uzbekistan, and it's left a lasting cultural and historical legacy that can still be seen in these countries today. So I've woken up nice and late. It's about 1 PM and the hustle and bustle of the streets has well and truly kicked off. This is Samarkand in Uzbekistan, famous for... I'm not really sure yet. But this is a spot on the Silk Road down Uzbekistan way. Most people follow along from Khiva, Bukhara, and now here. Sort of seems to like level up on the way. Khiva was like a tiny little old town, not a lot to see. Bukhara had a lot more stuff, but it wasn't that big. It wasn't that grand. And that's not a problem. It's just different. And by all accounts, Samarkand, this is the big boy. This is the final evolution. Everything here is supposedly a lot bigger than Bukhara. There's a bit less, but it's bigger. They've gone down the American route. This room was $4 a night, and I've got the whole place to myself. There's 6 beds, and only one of me. If all of my friends came, then we'd both have a bed. God, you can tell it's out of season because there's only ghosts having breakfast out here. So the objective of the day is to go and see Registan Square, which is probably the most famous landmark in Samarkand, the biggest and baddest. And quite possibly the most famous landmark in Uzbekistan. It's the one that's on all the postcards. So the taxi app of choice in Uzbekistan is Yandex Go, and that's been an absolute nightmare to get working on my phone. It's a Russian company, which means that it's undergoing a lot of sanctions. And it also means you need a Russian number to set up an account, or a number in one of these former Soviet republics. And you'll be shocked to hear I have neither of those things. Unfortunately, cabs here are very cheap. They only cost €1 or €2. So, see if our mate's here. Hi, assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Because every single car in Uzbekistan is a Chevrolet of some description, and they all kind of look the same. I think this is him. Hi, assalamu alaikum. You know England? Yeah.
Tajik.
Tajik? Ah, nice. Where in Tajikistan? It's difficult. Not many people here speak English.
Yeah, Russia good, Russia.
Russia good, yeah.
Speaking.
I need to learn Russian.
Yeah.
Is it hard language, Russian?
And
I want to go to Tajikistan, but visa is very expensive. It's
Tajikistan?
difficult. Yeah.
visa problem.
Yeah.
Visa problem.
Big problem for Brits. Don't like British people.
In Yandex taxi, England.
We don't have it in England, no. We use Uber.
Uber.
You know Uber? Yeah.
Uber in American.
Uber American, yeah, we use the American company. England and America, very close, very good friends. I notice all the cars on the road seem to be Chevrolets. Lots of Chevrolet, yeah.
Lacetti.
Very popular here?
Yeah, popular.
That's the most popular, yeah, everyone likes white Chevrolets.
20, 25, 26, married.
Everyone's married by 25. In the UK, nobody's married. No, 25. Everyone likes to go out drinking, partying. No kids. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Bye, my friend.
What was your name?
Shoko.
Shoko. My name's Kurt. Nice to meet you. Thank you very much. Thanks. Alright, so here we are. We've got a lift to the Prophet Daniel Mausoleum. What I've just realised there is that I've left my wallet at the hotel, which is good because I paid for that cab on card, but bad because I don't really know how much else I'm going to be able to pay for with card here. The walk up to the mausoleum itself is delightful. Got this little river going on here. Alright, here it is, the ticket office. Moment of truth. Gonna find out if we can actually get in here or not. Hi, assalamu alaikum. Do you take card? Nice. Perfect, thank you. So where we are right now is the Prophet Daniel Mausoleum. This is famous, it's got the longest sarcophagus in the world. It's 18 meters in length. Not really sure why. The average height at the time was, I think, 5'2", so it's not like he's taking up the entire space. Okay, so here it is, the sarcophagus of the Prophet Daniel. As you can see, 18 meters in length, it's pretty damn big. So this also seems to have given us access to some sort of viewpoint, so let's go and check that out. In the meantime, you know what I've always wondered is why those people are called like Daniel. It's not a very old-timey name. Same with like Peter. They're very English names, and I'm pretty sure that's probably not what they were called. I'd love to give you an explanation, but I probably Googled this before I came. Probably with doing more live vlogs like this is that I don't have the opportunity to script things, and when I don't have the opportunity to script things, it really shines through how little I know about the countries that I visit. Now, what I'd really love to do is get out there and have a look at some of the scenery that's nearby, but this gate is locked, and I feel like hopping the gate in a cemetery is one of those things that you're not really meant to do. Oh, but there's a load of sheep over there. Check this out. We've got a whole herd. It's just like being in Wales. So anyway, the reason that we came all the way out here is because we're still aiming to get to the Registan Square, but it's on the other side of town, and there's quite a few monuments between here and there. So I thought the best thing to do would be to jump in a cab to the furthest one and then walk my way back. I think we can get right up close to these sheep. Let's have a go, shall we? Oh, hello fellas. What's going on? Nah. Now the next stop we're going to walk up to is called the Observatory of Ulugh-Bek. I mean, if you ask me, Ulugh-Bek sounds more like a orc warlord than an astronomer, but with a little bit of Googling I did, that's exactly what he was. He was a famous Uzbek astronomer. They've turned his observatory into a bit of a museum, so let's go check it out. So this is what most of the streets in Uzbekistan look like, and as you can see, it's not really any pavement. This is a country built for cars, so really if you had more money than me, what I'd do is rent a car, rent a driver, get something. And there, as if to illustrate the point, I've turned around the corner and it's just a highway. Here he is, the man himself, Ulugh-Bek. Safe to say that he's not an orc. He's quite a good looking bloke actually. So this is the observatory itself. I mean, it's not really what I'd expect when I think of an observatory. That's more of a dome, I think, normally. Anyway, it's a very different style to everything else here though. Most of it's blue tile on white tile. This is more blue tile on tan tile. So this is all about Ulugh-Bek, the man himself, what all the exhibits in here are. Turns out he's not an astronomer. He was some sort of warrior king. He fended off the Mongolians from Uzbekistan for many years. So it turns out that this is what the observatory looks like. So I'm not really sure what I'm stood in at the moment, but it's not the observatory, which adds up. I knew it was more of a circle dome thing. And now we've got time to look at the most important part of all, which is naturally the gift shop. So we've got Uzbekistan cap goes quite hard. Although I think I prefer the Ulugh-Bek fridge magnet. It's a shame I don't have any cash, because some of this is quite good. So the only thing left to do at the observatory is to go into this tunnel and see what we're working with here. This bit here looks a bit like a ski ramp. You can probably get some good speed going down there. I'm noticing a bit of a trend in these museums in Uzbekistan, which is that they'll have pretty cool stuff in them, but it'll generally just be something in a glass box with a sign that's been translated into English, and it's never more than a couple of words. Like, one in there was just copper ball. Alright, see you later, big dog. So Ulugh-Bek was the furthest out we're going to go. We're walking back down into town now. I've left my headphones with my wallet. They're both safely tucked underneath my pillow back at the hotel, which means this hour-long walk into town is going to be pretty boring. Got these lovely views of this motorway, but not much else to keep me company. There's a bloody cow down there on the side of the road. One of them's got a hat on. Hang on. Yeah, that cow's got a hat on. I feel like they're probably not long for this world. I get the impression they're not milking cows. Every single car waiting to be fixed here is a Chevrolet. I don't know what the deal with all the Chevys is. I mean, as a former Soviet republic, it can't have been a long-lasting arrangement. They wouldn't have been importing Chevys in like the 90s, so it must be quite a recent development. Literally, as I'm saying that, I've passed a proper car. Look at that, beauty. Seems the principles of advertising are the same anywhere in the world. So here it is. We finished the long walk to make it to the next monument. I've forgotten what it's called. Okay, quick check of the map, and it's called the Shah-e-Zinda. I was certainly pronouncing all of these things wrong, so forgive me. Okay, so it says here that before visiting I need to prepare myself spiritually by performing the rite of absolution. Not sure what that is. So I'm not allowed to film in here because there's a load of graves apparently, just reading through those rules. Still not really sure what the rite of absolution is, so I reckon I'm just going to have a cigarette before I go in. Alright, so there's people taking selfies, so I think I'm fine. What this essentially is a mausoleum complex from what I can tell. So there's a lot of people buried here. I think when you get further in and you get to the actual graves themselves, that's where you need to turn off the cameras. So I'm going to make sure not to record the graves, but the tiles in here are incredible. So there's a lot of tour groups here, and that's normally how I steal some information to share with you all, is by overhearing stuff. But unfortunately they're all in Russian, which means I don't understand a word, and that's been a bit of a prevalent issue since I arrived in Kazakhstan. The rates of English here are pretty low. which is understandable given their recent history. And the majority of people speak Russian or the local language, so in this case Uzbek or Russian. I speak neither, which has made it incredibly hard to interact with locals and just learn anything really. The majority of translations into English are pretty poor in museums like this. What I did manage to learn is that mausoleum over there, in which you can't record, is home to one of the cousins of the Prophet Muhammad, and also a person who was one of the first ever missionaries of the Islamic religion in Central Asia. There's another tour group down there, but I've got a feeling that that one's not in Russian. It's probably in Uzbek. You can already see the next stop poking over the tree line there. It looks absolutely massive. When I was in Bukhara, I said that that felt quite a lot like Khiva on steroids, and Samarkand is starting to feel a bit like Bukhara on steroids. It really has just been step up after step up. I'm not sure I'd exactly describe it as traditional music, but it's bringing a bit of a vibe to the place. In fact, there is a bit of a fun fair vibe out here. Like, do you win those huge teddies? Do you win those kettles? I don't know. This is absolutely insane. The scale of it is enormous. I did not expect it to be so big. In fact, it's probably the biggest mosque I've ever seen. It might be the most beautiful as well. I'm really hoping this is free to enter because my card got rejected several times at the last place. I don't think Apple Pay is... Yeah, I don't think it's a very common way of paying in these parts. So we're just approaching the entrance now, and I can't really tell who's here as a tourist and who's here just to use this as a mosque. It's also so quiet. If this was anywhere in Europe, there'd be hundreds, probably thousands of people every day to see this, and no one in sight. Getting quite lucky today. Everyone seems to be taking my card. Anyway, we've made it inside, and it is just as stunning here. Not really sure how the structure of mosques works. Like, I'm not sure which bit of this you'd pray at. There's a humongous book here. Let's go take a look, see what they've got on the inside. I reckon they're hiding something good in there. I do get the impression that this is still a functioning mosque. It's not just a tourist attraction. It's a bit dark, it's a bit spooky. I'm not sure we're actually able to tell what's going on in here. Oh, there is absolutely nothing going on in here. Yeah, do you think that maybe we could get in through that? I think, yes, let's try. All of this is just beautiful, man. This must have taken so long to build. It's always the first thing I think when I see stuff this size. I mean, this is... I mean, I saw the pyramid last year and it's nowhere near that big, but it's, you know, in terms of ornateness, decoration, there's a lot more of that going on here than a load of sandy bricks in the middle of the desert. So I'm not going to get into that dark little cave bit though, because it's closed off on this side as well. Clearly they've thought of everything to keep me away. So the mosque was built in the 1400s, but there's no information on how long it took, which is a bit frustrating, so I'd love to know. But what it does mention is that this huge Quran in the middle was put in by a boy Ulugbek from the observatory earlier, so he's cropping up again. I'm sure that the original creators of this mosque would have been delighted to find that one corner of it has now just been converted into a gift shop. You can get all sorts of delightful fridge magnets. Now, I could have sat and looked at that all day, quite frankly, but we've still got one more stop. We're going to go and see Registan Square. That's what this is all about, but frankly, it's going to have to do very, very well to top that. This alone is worth visiting Uzbekistan for. It is absolutely immense. I can't think of a better sort of place of religion I've ever seen. Place of religion, place of worship. I really don't think this is doing the scale of the bloody thing justice. Anyway, I need to pull myself away from this. The most famous export of Uzbekistan is the Beatles. Approaching Registan Square now. It's been down this lovely road. Very paved, very organised, very nice. Very different to most of the roads in this country. The weather's taken a bit of a turn, which is a shame. But overall, this has been a really nice route. There you go, we've made it to the perimeter of the square. It's the same terracotta style as everywhere else. And in fact, I think I might be able to walk around this way to get a view of the main thing. So it appears that I've approached it from the wrong side, because it's behind this locked gate. So I'm going to have to figure out how to get around that, but yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty stunning already. Whew, what a day. There's a lot of walking to get here, but it's all worth it when you get views like this at the end. Am I the only one who's seeing this? So sadly, Apple Pay's failed me at the final hurdle. It would be classic that the one I was looking forward to the most is the one where it doesn't work. So I can't actually get in, which is a shame, but I managed to find a pretty good spot to have a view at it from the outside. And it is spectacular. I'm pretty happy with this. I'm not going to hold it against myself that I forgot my wallet so I can't go inside. I'm happy with this view. So I think that's where we're going to end it today. We've made it to Registan Square. This is the monument of Uzbekistan. It's the one on all the postcards and stuff. Delighted to have seen it, even though we can't get in. But I'm still going to count this as a success. So I'll catch you on the next one. Okay? Okay.